What is up, players? It's Warboss Tay up in this mug. This is a Shadow Hunter Prime from Artel W Miniatures. I'm going to put a link down below in the description. You could head over there and check out this miniature for yourself. It only costs $20 American, which means that if you compare that to a Games Workshop character clamshell, which is usually like $35, $45 American, you could actually buy two of these and build one up in this configuration, which I think is the best looking one, or you can have two of them in both alternate configurations. It's just terrific. Look at him perched on the rock there, holding that Imperial Guardsman by the neck with his power claw. They're really meant to look like the Predator because of that shoulder cannon, which I had no idea what that was until I checked the pictures again. It's just terrific. We're going to take a look at the miniature. I built him up rather, in a recent hobby hangout, which is 1 hour of just working. It's an ASMR video. You can check it out. It's one of my most recent videos. But the first thing I did was empty the plastic bag that the miniature comes in, and I organized it. I had to find where the alternative build parts were, which is basically just the power claw and the alternative shoulder. So I set those aside because I knew I wasn't going to use those. And then the first thing I did was build up the base, the decorative base. And as you can see there, I popped up a picture of what it actually is supposed to look like. Some of Artel W Miniatures you're fortunate enough to have on the product page the build instruction, the build guide. But some of them is just the product page with the pictures, promotional pictures. So like I said, we're doing the base first. You have a lot of little bits of extra flashing, which you could just easily clip away. This is resin. This material is resin, and it's very high quality. It comes away very easily. It cleans up very nicely. And I wanted to build it from the base up. So you've got that first rock piece there, which is only if you're going to be using the Imperial Guard character piece. If you're going to be using the alternative build, then you just use the topper that the Shadow Hunter Prime is standing on. You don't have to use that bottom piece. I put the discarded lasgun rifle there. Then I've put a little bit of super glue at the top. And this part is kind of important, figuring out which way the rock is supposed to be facing. You can't really see it in the picture. The angle is kind of strange, but after looking at some of the other pictures at different angles, I realized you have to hold it a certain way because the feet are meant to go in certain places on the rock. So here I'm dry fitting where the leg is going to go, that outstretched leg, and I'm going to be super gluing right at the hip there, and dry fitting where the feet are going to be positioned. It's always good with any medium plastic, resin, metal. Dry fit your pieces before you start throwing the glue on, because that's when you're kind of on a no looking back, set on your trajectory, right? So there I'm adding just a drop of the glue there, and I've got some Bob Smith Industries Accelerator. I'm going to be putting a link to that in the description as well. I find if you're working with resin and super glue, that Instacure super glue accelerator right there is so helpful. It really cuts down the time for the drying and helps you to continue with what you're doing. It sets the super glue instantly. It is more of an advanced product, and if you're new to model building or Warhammer or whatever, then I would suggest maybe don't start with that, because it's very easy to super glue your fingers together, just get it all over the place if you're not used to how the super glue works. But if you're already a proficient, experienced modeler, then you can go ahead and use that. It's a great help. It almost instantly cures it after a couple of seconds, and then you can move on with your day. I'm going to add a little bit more right there to strengthen and toughen that seal there. So a little bit more than a little, and then give it a little spritz so that it'll cure. And now I'm just really admiring the lines of this miniature. It is such a great sculpt with the hand holding the sword off to the side at an angle. It's balanced out really nicely. All of the lines look really well balanced, and it's just a beautiful sculpt. So now I'm putting together the Imperial Guardsman. What I decided was to do two different kinds of sub-assemblies, one from working up the base and then the model of the Shadowhunter Prime, and the other building up the Imperial Guardsman, because you have a couple of pieces with him. Firstly, you're putting the legs onto the torso, and you want to get the angle right. You don't want his legs to be placed too far back, or else it's going to look strange, like he's doing some kind of back stretch. And you don't want it to be twisted too much either, or else it's going to look too unnatural. He really should be looking like he's hanging literally from his neck, and his feet and his arm are just dangling right underneath him. Speaking of his arm, you do have to glue that on as well. There's a little bit of flash at the shoulder, so just clean that up before you put that into the socket. And I do appreciate how the claw and the head are already sculpted onto the torso. It takes the guesswork out of that part. As you can see, I've been working on gluing. So the Shadowhunter Prime has a torso, one leg, a second leg, and then you have to glue both of the shoulder pads with the upper arms attached to them. So once that is set, thanks to the Instacure from Bob Smith Industries, I'm able to dry fit the sword. And looking at the picture there, I couldn't really tell which angle the sword was at, but out to the side, after I checked a couple more reference pictures, I saw the perfect angle. It's funny because the sword almost balances the hanging Imperial Guardsman. I feel like if the sculptor had designed the figure to be holding the sword up or at a different angle, it wouldn't look as balanced. But because it's at the perfect angle, it really makes the figure look like it's balanced and weighted on both sides really nicely. All right, let's move on to the head now. So the dreadlocks are attached to the back of the helmet with a very small surface area. And I fast forwarded through the video, but there was a lot of finagling that I had to do because I couldn't get the angle right. And since I'm a human being with only two hands, I couldn't use the super glue accelerator while I was trying to put the piece of the dreadlocks onto the helmet. It took me a couple of tries. I guess I could have set the model on the table, but I really needed to hold it in place with both of my hands. So once it did get a little bit of a join, then I was able to hit it with the Bob Smith Instacure. Now comes my favorite part. It's getting the angle on the elbow, where the arm holding the Astra Militarum soldier is going to be attached to the upper arm. Now this is a tricky join because both the upper arm and the arm with the power fist have a very small little join, but it's almost like a puzzle piece where it fits in exactly the way it's supposed to, which is good because it's holding technically some weight on it, right? This little joint is supposed to hold the weight of all that resin. So you want to make sure that you're balanced and that you have the model at the correct balance so that the super glue can join, and it's not going to be weighted and it's not going to look awkwardly angled. Now I'm pointing at the little socket where this gun is going to go. It's so funny, this shoulder cannon, I thought it was like a pistol. I was looking at all these pictures for where's the pistol on the Shadowhunter's waist. Like, it's not holstered, and it's not a separate weapon, like an alternative weapon to be holding. It's actually his shoulder cannon, like a Predator. And I love that Artel W really leaned into the whole Predator design for the striking scorpions with the dreadlocks and the shoulder cannons. This really makes me want to buy more Shadowhunters, like the entire squad. And there you go. After letting it cure for a little while, I came back, I took some decorative shots of it on my cutting mat with my Christmas garland around just to show it off. I love this figure, guys. The artistry and all of the detail they're able to get. Like, look at that armor. It looks so good. I'm really pleased with it. And like I said, if you're interested in getting one for yourself for only $20.99, I believe I'm going to put the link down below in the description. You can also check out the rest of the alternative striking Scorpion squad. It's going to be in the Artel W range as well. But yeah, look at that. Everything about this it just looks like so much fun. The mask, especially with the eyes, very reminiscent of the Predator. I just think this is going to be so much fun to paint. So thanks for watching, guys. I am an affiliate of Artel W Miniatures. So if you do decide to purchase one of these or anything on their website after clicking the link in the description, then you'll be helping out my studio, and I really appreciate you for that. But before I go, I did want to show you, just because variety is the spice of life, I want to show you what the alternative sculpt looks like right here. Boom. This is the model just with an open, empty power claw. He's still got the sword. Everything about it is the same, and it's also missing the bottom half of the decorative base. Like I said, he's still perched on the top of that rock, but now he's just looking straight forward without the Imperial Guardsman in his hand. And yep, there it is, $20.99. So you can check it out. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and please check out the 1 hour long ASMR videos. I think they're really fun, good to have on in the background if you are working yourself. All right, have a great day, and we'll see you in the next video. Latest, players.